Hey YouTube. First of all, I'm getting over a really bad cold that I caught last week Sunday, so if my voice sounds different, that's why. Um, I wanted to actually compose a really quick, simple bagpipe tune for a new friend that I've made. Um, Friending her actually seems to feel like it's kind of compensating for what happened with Haley. Haley's not really interested in being like my girlfriend, but I seriously felt like there was like nobody else whosoever in the world that could be like as cool as she is and have as much in common. Like she and I both get cold easily. We both love music. We both have perfect pitch. We both don't like yodeling. We both love chocolate. But we do have a healthy amount of differences too. Like, well, classical is Haley's favorite. Bagpipes is my favorite. Um, She loves spicy food. I don't mind that. She likes chess. I don't mind it. Um, there's nothing that I don't like about Haley and would want to be different about her. And it was ever since the third, I've been like really grieving it really, really hard. But I guess it took getting over this cold to finally get over her. Well, also, and friending this new person, which I'd like to introduce. Um, She and I subscribed to each other's YouTube channels just today. Her name is Hanna Silver. I think she's from Australia. If not, somewhere with a British accent. I hope I'm not wrong. Um, it's hard to tell the difference between British and Australian accents, but she's a really amazing pianist. I've heard her on some of her YouTube videos. Voice-wise, she happens to sound like my sister-in-law Garland, who can be heard in some of the recordings I made of my brother Eric and my cute little niece Charlotte. Um, Basically, take Garland but add a British/Australian accent to it. So I think really, honestly, friending Hannah really compensated because I felt really alone, and I think just needing somebody to just probably, just the potential of, talking to another person with perfect pitch just really makes it seem less lonely, I could say. So, you know, I guess I just wish there were more girls with more in common so that I don't have to keep, worrying about Haley. But anyway, so right to the point. So having friended Hannah subscribed to Hannah and she subscribed to me, I thought I'd check out her videos, and she's actually pretty cool. She's not blind, but she does upload really cool things, and so I think for this kind of like here's a new subscriber on my YouTube channel, I thought I could maybe compose like a simple 9/8 jig, a slip jig as it's called. I just had just the name Hanna Silver in mind. Hanna Silver or Hanna Silver's jig. So I'll play it on my practice chanter. I have tape on it to make sure all the notes are in tune. I just want to make sure the tape didn't slip. A little sharp on the higher notes. Okay, I think we're good. Oh. Okay, yeah. That's the first part. Let's see. So that's the jig itself. if anybody wants to come up with a third and fourth part, you can always make a different question phrase, but I like the answer phrase to be the same. That's what we call it in pipe music, a question phrase and an answer phrase. So in the case of the first part, the question phrase would be, that's the question phrase, and then the answer phrase. I really like that ending. I actually took it from a tuning phrase that an Irish uilleann piper used in 1930 something. He's tuning the pipes, right? And then, he plays something like, that would actually be a really good vocal warm-up, wouldn't it be? I'm not a singer by any means, but my ultimate girlfriend I would love my ultimate girlfriend to have an amazing singing voice, just like my absolute favorite opera singer in the world, Denise Lee. And it would be amazing if she had perfect pitch. I just wish more people had perfect pitch, but now that I've kind of gotten in touch with Hanna, this feels really a lot better than having to let Haley kind of ease off and it's like there's nobody left, like no close friends left. Because honestly, people with perfect pitch are close friends to me. Ordinary friends are people who, may not relate to me and may not be musical and, yada, yada, yada. So, yeah. And for those people who aren't pipers who are listening, there's actually no... you may have seen pipers use sheet music. Well, that's actually not the right way to learn bagpipes. The only way to learn bagpipes is to actually sing the tunes, because it's... originally bagpiping was passed down by singing, and so there was no sheet music back in, let's just say, the 1600s, 1700s, so the only way for them to pass it along was by singing it. Now, obviously, you didn't have to have a good Denise Lee-like singing voice to do it, but that's the only way you're going to get the rhythm and nuances. Well, of course, also through listening to recordings. I mean, that's, obviously, that's one way it will help you, but they didn't have recordings back then, so teaching everything verbally was the only proper way to learn pipe tunes, and it actually still is today. Sheet music is... As a blind person, I kind of shun sheet music, but it can be helpful in determining what grace notes comes next. The grace notes are the non-melody notes, so, the only way, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, you can't just tongue, you can't just... you can't just do that, because you have your bag going. So the only way to do that is grace notes. So you lift up and down one finger really quickly to give the impression of a separate note. And obviously we don't sing the grace notes note for note, because we'd have to be good yodelers to do that, and I hate yodeling. I absolutely hate it. So what we do is we actually assign different consonants to the different grace notes. So this grace note here is different than this grace note here. So that's why we assign different consonants to the grace notes. And we also assign different vowels. Now, each piper has his or her own way of doing it. So it's not as rigid as solfege, which is the do-re-mi system. It's not as rigid as that. Each piper has his or her own way. So, for example, one piper might use do for that note. Some pipers might use in. Others might use, un, You come up with, because there are 9 basic notes on the bagpipes, not counting some accidentals, you come up with 9 different vowel sounds to imitate the sound of the pipe chanter. With a practice chanter, it doesn't sound like much, but with the pipe chanter, some of the notes have called to mind a specific vowel. So anyway, I thought maybe for somebody like Hanna, this kind of explanation would be really fascinating, and to tell the piano people how bagpipes compares to it. And if you look on my channel, you'll see a lot of old recordings of bagpipes. I really like those because I like remastering old recordings with click repair invented by Brian Davies, who's from Australia. And correcting the warping, because I have perfect pitch, warped records bother the heck out of me. Just like Brianna Domrau's singing voice is like the worst opera singing voice I've ever heard. So I noticed that warping, so I tend to, I want to correct it. And so remastering those old recordings has really been, I feel like it's been really like a labor of love that you can hear one of my absolute favorite ones, and whenever you just go to my homepage, I actually have it set to play my absolute favorite old record from 1917, where they actually use the exact instrument that my current set of Highland bagpipes are based on. So that's pretty cool to hearing an actual set of bagpipes from 1917, like a really amazing prize-winning set of bagpipes from that era. So, anyway, so I think that'll be it for now, and see you guys later.